Oh, we are live, boys and lady. Welcome, America, to the Eric and Rodney Show with Robin. I'm your host, America's sweetheart, Eric Ryan. I own Offensively Creative. We have Rod, the PEO god, owner of Dinsmore Steel and the Thriller from Manila, Robin Valdez. And today, we have a very special guest. She is a mindset maven, a human archaeologist, and a creative executive. Please, America, welcome Patricia Lindner to the show. Oh,
hey,
welcome, Patricia. Welcome.
All the way from Germany. Have you guys ever been to Germany? It's lovely. The schnitzel is unbelievable. Is it not, Patricia?
Absolutely, absolutely. With French fries. I totally love it. Yes, you're right. Yeah.
And your beer, although it's light, but it's delightful.
Yeah. Of course, with beer.
How it should be.
Now, do they like Bud Light? Is that big over there? I'm just
Excuse
joking.
me?
I was asking if Bud Light's big.
Okay.
No Bud Light in Germany? You guys are transphobic. Unbelievable. So I mentioned to Patricia, who has a serious podcast, that she's probably going to regret her appearance on this. So we're going to do our best to make sure that she feels justified in her actions, regretting everything about saying yes to this. So we're going to get to the Patricia section of the evening. But first, we have to cover the news because America demands our opinions.
I have a question.
Yes.
What day is today?
Oh my God, Rodney, did you?
You almost forgot.
No.
I always wait for it.
So, Rodney, thank you for asking. Patricia, I don't know if you know this, but in the United States, every day is a day to celebrate. Every day is something new, to have a few drinks, argue amongst friends. And today, because of sort of what you do, I know it's not exactly the same thing, but I wanted to spotlight that it's National Shrink Day. So shrinks is I don't know if you know this, it's a colloquialism here in the United States. It's therapists, psychologists, who else? Psychotherapists.
People that can write prescriptions.
Psychiatrists. Yeah, anyone you need to talk to work your feelings out. We're going to celebrate today. So, Rodney, Patricia, Robin, have you ever been to a shrink? Okay. Rodney, yes. Patricia, no.
Yeah, good times.
No, I do this stuff myself. See?
I was going to say, this is sort of what you do, right?
Yeah.
So, have notes, no.
Rodney, how was it? How long did you go for? Did you have a good time?
It was good. Years. I loved it. I used to go and basically just complain.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That's really. It was a good hour of complaining. Good morning, Garrett.
Yeah, Garrett.
Yeah, literally, it was just a good hour of complaining.
How does this day make us feel?
Our daily bread. No, I thought it was very therapeutic. More so, not because we really solved any troubles, but because I was able to complain for an hour.
I feel like, yes, and then they're paid to listen, so they don't interject with their own stories. Oh, go, yeah, and then tell you something. You just get to pitch for an hour, which must be unbelievable.
Yeah, and the questions are the same. So I would be like, so-and-so is a real poopy head.
Yeah.
They'd be like, now you've said that before. Tell me more.
Yes.
I'd be like, you want to know more about why he's a turd? I could go on for hours. Please tell me more.
I'm kind of curious though. What do you think is a good ratio of like you talking to a therapist and them like talking back? Is it like 80-20?
No, they don't ever talk. They just ask questions. Because here's what you have to understand, Rob. Let me lay it out for you here. They already know the answer.
Yeah.
It's just going to take 5 or 6 years to get there.
Right.
More for me, I wasn't looking for answers. I knew that I just was worked with a bunch of fools. But the bottom line is that I was able to get it out in a way I couldn't.
Right. Yeah. There's at soccer, one of the soccer moms is a psychologist, therapist. I don't know what the fuck she is, but I tried to get her to do me for free because I don't think I have any problems. I would like to go and bitch to somebody for an hour, but I think I'm fine. Do you think, Rodney, that at the end, did they fix you? Did you feel better? Okay.
Well, here's let me give you some, here's an example. So I didn't like this one guy I used to work with, oddly enough. And we went over it and over and over. And she finally said to me one day, you know what's wrong with him? I said, that obviously not. And she laid out everything that was wrong with him. She goes, and here's how you deal with that. And she was right.
This is what I like about you. I think it would be the same thing about me. We're not broken. We just need to complain about other people to somebody who will listen.
We need someone to help us fix the other people. That's
exactly right. Patricia, does that sound right so far?
I just thought about what you said. So, and this is why I didn't go to a shrink, because I didn't like bathing in the stories, because everyone has stories. And
a lot of stories.
The more you focus on those stories, the heavier they get. And that's when I decided I need to come up with something very different out of the box. That's why I chose to help people in a different way that might sound from the outside or look from the outside like being a shrink, being someone who does the psychological stuff. Well, it's going deep, but it is really helping them get rid of their issues, whatever stands in their way, in an hour or maybe even in half an hour.
Right.
So I don't rely on talking about stuff over and over and over again.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. So I can tell you right off the bat, that's not how my stuff worked.
Yeah.
Jared, here's the problem
literally
with
me talking about.
Here's the problem though. You're dating crazy chicks. You know right off the bat they're out of their fucking minds, which I guess truth in advertising, which is nice.
Yeah.
All right. We have to get to Patricia and her whole her deal because she has a lot of things going on. I have many questions. So let's cover the news. Robin, what happened in the news today?
What happened while we were asleep?
While we were drunk on Labor Day?
A lot of stuff fucking going on in America.
I was actually drunk yesterday, Eric. So that's the first. Like,
you were?
Really ever drink. Yeah, I mean, I only had 6 beers, so in a shot.
Oh.
So that really took me to another place. I was also in the sun for hours, like literally 12 hours. So
that's like giving blood. That gets you drunk a lot faster.
Yeah. Sorry, go on, Robin. I just wanted to
and
show
you were
Eric.
playing pickleball on like a
That's
tiny
true.
net,
I was playing
saw that as
pickleball
well.
on a tiny net.
You had 6 beers and a shot, and you're playing pickleball in the sun. That's a recipe.
Yeah, and I also well, so can I say something really funny? So I was out pretty deep in the ocean yesterday, like not that deep, but deeper than most people.
Yeah.
With one of my friends, and I saw the lifeguard coming. I said, "Oh man, he's coming out here to rescue us." I must have not heard his whistle. Apparently, there was a kid behind me. So when he gets there, I said, "Thank God you're here. Do you have any drinks and snacks?" And he was like, "Do you need any help?" And the other guy was saying, "Can you stand up?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? No, I'm standing up out here. We're in the middle of the ocean." Needless to say, there was a kid behind me. I had no idea, right? And I said, "Can we hatch a ride onto your David Hasselhoff thing?"
Oh shit! He had a little boat.
He wouldn't let us. No, he had a thing like I don't know what it's called. It was like orange.
Can I just say
he came to save us? So I was like, you know what? If he's going to save us, maybe he's brought us some snacks or something, you know.
Right. Can I just say how serendipitous this is? Because the Germans love David Hasselhoff, and you just brought him up organically.
I actually like David Hasselhoff
really?
as well. He's the most famous lifeguard in the world. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I've heard that the Germans can't get enough of Hasselhoff.
Mitch Buchanan is his name on the show. His son was Hobie, if you may recall.
Right.
So I'd say maybe 20 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This isn't recent, but who else do we know that's a lifeguard?
Hasselhoff anymore? Oh
wait,
my
does anyone know who's a lifeguard, a famous lifeguard that you can name off the top of your head right now? No.
Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Hasselhoff.
So this guy was not a Hasselhoff though. He was about. I was like, that's who they're going to send to save us.
Yeah, but no, they weren't coming out with snacks.
It wasn't for me. He was trying to save.
Lifeguards these days.
Sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry to interrupt the news, but that was my news.
Yeah. I'd say Zac Efron's the new lifeguard, but he's too short.
That's true. I don't know how Germany feels about Zac
Not a
Efron.
hassle.
All right, we gotta get to the news.
We should. Okay. We all know that American law enforcement is horrible, and it's even worse when you have to take out enforcement in law enforcement. So Austin, Texas seems to be having a very bad problem. They're understaffed, so they're telling people who go through robberies, stop calling because you're no longer a priority. So this sucks because business owners literally, the government makes policies that normalize robbery and in some cases even punish you for not allowing it.
So yeah, just to be clear about this, if you were getting robbed, let's say at gunpoint because you just took money out of an ATM, do not call the police. They're uninterested. It's not a violent enough crime. You have to call 311 so they can do a report on it. Oh boy. Oh, James.
As a big fan.
To be fair, there were a lot of hot chicks on Baywatch too, so I'm not questioning. Yeah, so there's some numbers in this article that are pretty fascinating. Did you know that compared to 2020, Austin has a 77% increase in auto theft, 18% increase in aggravated assaults, and 30% increase in murder? What is happening in Austin, Texas?
You know who just moved to Austin?
Who?
Cass.
Oh, Jesus.
That's where she lives.
She's going to get murdered. So I told Patricia before the show that every news story, I'm going to ask what Germany's take on this. I'm going to tell you Germany's murder rate as compared to the United States, though, just so you're aware. Germany has a 0.83% murder rate per 100,000 people. United States, 6.81.
So we're winning.
We're winning. We're kicking the shit out of them. We murder so
America.
many people.
Yes.
We're number one again. Yes.
In America, we kill people who kill people because killing people's wrong.
That's right. We're going to teach them a lesson. So let me ask you this, Patricia. Do you view the United States as a violent place, as an outsider, like an ultraviolet place?
So this is an interesting question, Eric, because I spent a couple of times for a longer period of time in America, and I was not aware of people having guns. I really was not aware. Now, in retrospective, I feel like, okay, I want to go back, but now I'm more aware of this. So there is, to be honest, this idea of, oh, what could happen? Back then I was around 18, 19. I didn't pay attention to that. But now, if you ask me now, there is this concern of what could happen. And I talked to, because it was Austin, it is Texas, I love connecting with Americans. And I had this lady, maybe last year, I talked about gun policy. And then she said, of course, I always carry my gun in my bra. I was like, what? What? So this is a bit strange. So yes, there is this strange sense of, is it safe?
Yeah, I don't know that it's safe. So James, interesting. I didn't know you were anti-woke agenda, but here's the thing. So you say it's the woke agenda of fear, crime, and control. But if you read the Fox News comments, it's the woke agenda's thing with not having enough cops. So it's like you're getting blamed from many different angles here. I don't know whose fault it is. I just know that an increase in 30% in murders is not.
I have a question about this story.
A shit ton of people. Now it's 30% more than that.
In New York, we have a 311 number, but it's about parking, whose trash is going out, that kind of stuff, right?
Well, that's supposed to be what it's for.
Yeah, okay, that's what. And here's the other question I have: if you get robbed at an ATM, I could be wrong on this. I think that's a federal crime. Like they have footage of it. Have you ever been into a bank and there's no cameras?
No.
It's like the casino.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I think you have to call the police. Like, who else would you call? 311. They're going to be like, are you interested in participating in the survey? What?
You know what's crazy too is a robbery is a violent crime. Like they're threatening you with something, a gun or a knife or whatever, and they're stealing your money. And they're going, no. The cops, that's below their pay grade. Stop.
Hold on a second though. We do know of one instance where there was no weapons and there were some violent but no one was ever arrested. Robin, would you care to refresh Eric's
talking about the barefoot
bandits attacked you?
Wait, so apparently old revolvers don't count as weapons?
You said it was the gun they shoot at the race.
So just to catch Patricia up, Robin was robbed in the Philippines by bandits on
barefoot
mopeds
bandits
without shoes. So they're the barefoot bandits. So I know you think the United States is violent, but in the Philippines, they're not even wearing shoes and committing crimes, which somehow seems worse.
Yeah.
It's like the Bad News Bears of criminal activity.
Right. They're adorable, but they still steal your money. This is the thing too. So Austin says that they have Austin has 1,475 officers. They say because they're growing so quickly, they need another 500. They need to be around 2,000 officers. But it's like cops, teachers, and pilots in this country have to deal with so much shit outside of their actual job. Who the fuck wants to be a cop? Like, listen, I'm no bootlicker, but I'm saying it could be a tough job, just like teachers and pilots. So good luck finding another 500 people that want to do this job, especially when the murder rate's up by 30%.
You know what? I got to be honest with you. I always thought it myself, like, imagine you were riding in the car, right? And you're having a nice day. It's a good breeze, a good song on. You're hanging out with your pal. I mean, let's say you and I were doing it. And they're like, there's a possible, I'm making this, I don't know what this means, 211. A husband and a wife are fighting. I'm going to look over to you and be like,
I don't care. Right.
Let's not, you know what? Let's not worry ourselves. Now, if they said they're beating animals and children, turn the lights on, showtime.
Right.
But if it's like this guy's speeding, who cares, right?
Call 311.
I don't
care. Can't be bothered with this.
Yeah.
We're
take care of yourself.
No, I totally agree. Yeah. All right. So now that we've solved Austin's crime problem, you want to move on to the next story?
Yeah, this next story kind of sucks if you're an actual Asian tourist or a naturalized American of Asian descent. And I don't think we've covered this on the on the show before. But we know after the whole COVID situation, like there's a lot of hysteria and discrimination over Asians. I'm guessing it's also similar in Europe. It's getting a lot worse because there are situations where the FBI keeps catching Chinese tourists who keep breaching into U.S. military bases.
Mhm.
And it's a bit comical. So like
Mm.
these Chinese tourists get caught on sites or near military bases, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. My Google Maps was leading me to McDonald's, and somehow I got on this military base."
Yeah. So you'll have a bus full of Asian tourists show up at a military base and go, "Oh, we just wanted to go to the Burger King on base," or "Oh, we have reservations at the hotel on base." So here's the thing. My father was in the military post 9/11. It's very difficult to get into military bases. Pre 9/11, no ID, just go in. They trusted you. This is like the dumbest technique, I think, to get in. And they said that the Department of Defense does 10,000 controlled turnarounds. I think it's a month. So 10,000 times people are trying to get into military bases.
This is just Asian people or everyone?
I think this is everyone, but who the fuck is trying to get into military bases?
But you know they have, well, you know this, of course, they have signs that say, "Do not enter, restricted, get out of here, don't take no pictures, leave."
They do. And then once you get
mean,
there are humans with guns, giant guns that are preventing you from
Are they
going.
like, "This is the toll guy"?
Oh my God.
But here's
I've
the
done
thing,
it a
are they
couple of
telling them,
times.
but do
Yep.
they tell them that they have a reservation for 20 under Xi Jinping?
Thank you for bringing it up, because here's our two boys. These guys are just
There they
trying to
are.
hash things out. So showing up to military bases saying you're trying to get to the Burger King is one thing. They also found Chinese spies scuba diving near the Kennedy Space Center. Like, that is some Dr. Evil shit. You have swarms of Chinese guys scuba diving near the Kennedy Space Center. What do you? This spying has got out of control.
Were they going to
Pictures
break
on
into the
internet.
bottom of it? Is that where the secrets are? I thought they were. I got to be honest. I thought the secrets were in Trump's golf course and Biden's garage.
You're never going to believe this. A Chinese national was arrested at Mar-a-Lago. She had like 4 passports, 3 burner cell phones. Like, they're trying everything. God bless them. Really trying. I don't know what they're looking for, but they are looking hard to get it.
Why didn't they just call Vladimir and ask him for a couple of secrets? Now
No,
he's working with North Korea to get some ammo.
The Russians are smart enough to just hack. The Chinese are putting boots on the ground, which I really don't understand. But this article did say something interesting. They were like, "Can you imagine Americans trying to do this over there? We'd be in labor camps for the next 100 years." Whereas we're like, "All right, turn around, sir. You're not going to Burger King." Like, there's no arrests. We're not sending any, messages.
Plus, white people in Asia just stick out too much. You're too tall.
That would be the problem.
Yes, but that's the only problem where like America has a problem with diversity. Is like you can't tell anymore because everyone's like too diverse.
Right. Okay. Now we solved that problem. Do you want to hear James Black go back to the last story? He's anti-stupidity, limiting crime rampant in our cities to defending whatever. Only having Boy, this show is heavily political. All right, listen.
It's like
We
Crossfire.
Unfortunately,
what's that?
It's like Crossfire with Tucker and what was that Joker's name? Keith
I
Olbermann's.
know I miss Keith Olbermann.
But wait, weren't they both? I could be wrong about this, and I might be off base. Were they both right wing or no? Keith Olbermann's not. I don't remember.
Keith Olbermann's pretty left.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Well, what's the other guy that's always arguing? Him and Tucker were always going back and forth about how great everything was.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
I
his name.
can't
He was on some
remember
show
all
with
this.
him.
All right, listen. We got to get to Patricia. What's next in the old news? Listen, we'll get to you.
yeah, this one kind of looks like an event that happened in the Bible. I'm sure if we check the comment section, you'll find people that are saying that yes, this is what's happening. We're being smited by Almighty God. So I'm sure maybe Rodney and Eric have seen this because you're in the affected states. There are a bunch of spotted lanternflies, and they're invading and causing billions of dollars to the U.S. economy. Have you seen one?
I have a couple.
They're in New York. So people are in New York and New Jersey. I don't know. And so this is the first time I've heard of this, but I saw on Twitter or X, there are hordes of these things everywhere in New York City. So like you have rats, you have pigeons, you have violence. Now you have these things. So one isn't bad, but they tend to do this to not only trees, but on the streets. And then what you're supposed to do if you're walking in the streets of New York City is stomp on these things.
Yeah, you're supposed to kill them.
I have a million questions. So you're supposed to stomp on them. What do you do with the corpses? You're just leaving corpses of these dead bugs everywhere in the biggest city in the United States?
Well, no, we usually urinate on them to get them, wash them off. Here's the thing, though, right? Is these things they said they can wreak havoc on the grapes. I said, oh my good Lord, well, I'm in the wine countries.
I'm glad you brought that up because this is what was concerning to me. The USDA says it affects almonds, apples, apricots, cherries, grapes, hops, maple trees, nectarines, oak trees, peaches, pine nut, fucking plums, sycamores, walnuts, like
pretty much everything we enjoy.
everything we enjoy: beer, syrup, wine, fruit salad. So this is another reason why I don't believe in God. The invasive species are never like a bourbon fly or an orgasm squirrel. It's always these fucking things that destroy. You know what I mean? Why?
That's a good point.
Why every time an invasive species, they're evil? Don't you think?
Yeah, why can't there be an animal that makes Nutella?
Right, like
silliness.
And then the bees are just dropping Nutella everywhere. That would be unbelievable.
Yeah.
But every time they're pythons that are ruining the Everglades. What are the invasive species are always?
Or the sugarcane toad. Have you seen him?
In the United States, always gets it. Patricia, what's the invasive species over there in Germany? Anything happening?
Americans. It's Americans.
So I'm not so much into that. So, like, what do you mean exactly by invasive?
Are there any insects over there that are taking over?
Yeah, every year we get a new animal that's fucking.
I guess that's why I couldn't answer properly, because I just looked it up. I never saw this fly before.
Yeah, no.
So, and this is really special language. What happens a lot is in the forests there is this bug that eats the trunk of the trees. I don't know what the exact name is. That is a lot over here.
It's always
no invasive species that I know of. So
well,
we have a lot of hornets this year, which is not so bad because they are peaceful.
Well, I don't know if you're interested.
They're not peaceful here.
If you want some lantern flies, we got plenty of them. Do you want to ship?
I never saw these before. I don't know if they even exist here.
No, I don't either. But like, remember a couple of years ago, it was murder hornets. Do you remember that in the United States? It was killing people.
Yeah.
And it's just like every year it's something else, and it's never good.
Yeah.
Here's what I don't understand. Why don't the murder hornets take on the lantern flies?
See, now you're talking.
And it could be West Side Story on the east side.
Snap and sing. Do a little musical number.
And they bring out the knife.
All right. Well, murder hornets. What else? What else we got? We got 8 minutes before we get to old.
Okay. Well, we can all agree that racism sucks. And well, a good question to ask is like, if the narrative was reversed, if the minorities were the majority, would there still be racist people? Absolutely. And here's proof. There are about 80 families in Somalia who suffer from albinism. And unfortunately, they also suffer a lot from racism, and nobody just wants to associate with them because they believe that albinism is contagious. It's so bizarre, and also just proof that they're uneducated.
All right, before this gets real dark, if I pulled his comment in about people from albinos, they taste like chicken, that would have been a lot better. But this is one of the saddest stories I've ever fucking read. So this guy goes, people think I'm cursed. They often throw a mixture of salt water and raw eggs on my doorstep because they think it'll protect them from me. So he got fired from his janitor job at a restaurant because people would stop going there thinking that they were going to catch albinism from the food. Now he has to beg for a living, but he's not making enough money. He can't afford sunglasses, food. Sunglasses, their eyes suck. Sunscreen, food, a place to stay. He said when he was going to school, his parents couldn't send him to school because they fucking throw rocks at him. They stone him, and they do that to everyone with albinoism, whatever the fuck it is. He said his mother's marriage is falling apart because her family has ostracized her for having albino children. Her husband resents her for giving him albino children, so they're about to get divorced. The brother won't talk to her. This is like the saddest fucking story I've ever heard.
Right.
And there's a lot of albinos in Somalia.
Okay, I was thinking he was in Florida. Got it. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, this is terrible.
Oh my God, it's just so sad. And once
what though, the only thing I could come up with is, what if he used makeup? I'm serious. I'm not being funny. Like, maybe that would help him out, because obviously he's not going to be able to leave. And I don't think it's going to be easier for him to use makeup than leave or convince these people that they're crazy.
I know. It's just so dark. And again, they think it's contagious, so they ostracize them like fucking what are those, lepers. It's bad out there, man.
But isn't the worst thing that this is just the construct that we have in our heads about people? I just today in the morning, I listened to an audiobook, and I was so really drawn to what he said. He said children would never judge anyone that has anything like that.
Oh yeah.
They would just play around, and they would maybe be curious about it. but never would have the construct of, oh, this is contagious. This is something we need to get rid of.
Right.
So
The only
this-
reason. Oh, totally. This guy is having rocks thrown at him because his parents said throw rocks at the guy with albino. Like kids would never come up with this idea that you should hit this kid with rocks. It's unbelievable. It's sad. It is horrible, but it makes me feel better about the United States because every day we do these news stories about how fucked up we are. But at least we're not throwing rocks at albino kids.
Can I just say something about throwing rocks?
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, I never had the urge to throw them at animals or people. Glass, however, I was obsessed with.
I love
chucking them out. Yeah,
breaking glass with rocks.
Bottles.
Yep.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's
I
like
would never throw them at a person
outside.
or an animal, but I could really go to town on the bottles.
Oh, it feels so good, right? The shattering of glass is very
And
satisfying.
you hear, my mom would be like, "Are you breaking bottles with the rocks?" Yes, I am.
I will say I only throw rocks at albino glass, so maybe that has some through line there.
That could be it.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Still
you want to do
still albinos though.
Still albinos. You want to do Burning Man real quick, or do you have anything else? Horrible story?
Yeah, we could talk about Biden, but do we really?
Man.
Burning Man is so man. Yeah, let's go right to Burning Man because I don't know.
I know you're really excited for this one. So every year there's this huge event. I'm not sure, Patricia, if you're familiar, but it's called Burning Man. No. It's where this festival happens in the middle of the
and they light up a man.
Nevada. Yeah. It's also it's called Burning Man, and this year kind of sucked because all these people are on drugs, or most of them. So you're like recovering from a week-long use of substance abuse, and then you get screwed on your way home because there's a bunch of.
I love it.
Yeah. So Burning Man has been around. Drugs. So Burning Man has been around, I think, since 1986. And in the Wikipedia article, it says it was once considered an underground gathering of bohemians and free spirits of all stripes. Burning Man has since devolved into a destination for social media influencers, celebrities, and the Silicon Valley elite. So what happened this year, though, is that it's held in Nevada. They had 3 months worth of rain in 24 hours. So all these fucking 72,000 unwashed hippies, celebrities, and social media influencers go to this place and dress like assholes to do drugs and watch. I mean, come on. This year they were all trapped in the mud, and there's nothing about this that appeals to me at all. Zero.
We have just been proved wrong.
What?
There's
one thing that appeals to me about this, and it's this chick in the middle.
Apologies. There's a couple of apologies we need to issue.
Right. But don't you want luxury? Don't you want a bathroom that works? Don't you want hot food? Like, what about this? Robin, you're young. Do you want to go to Burning Man?
I kind of do, to be honest.
Oh my
god. So like the cool thing about Burning Man for me is everyone is just, there's no currency. Everyone is just there. They're sharing their stuff. You don't buy anything. You're just sharing stuff with everyone. I like the concept, but okay. Yes.
This is America, Robin. You better wake up. That don't happen here, friends. No, sir.
So you're telling me my money has no power there? Why would I want to go? That doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
Can I just highlight one thing that where we were wrong, Eric, and we need to make amends? There are grown men playing saxophones. I had no idea.
Dude, he's double fist. Is he holding two? Or is the guy behind him?
Well, the guy over there's got a tuba. Imagine you're like, imagine, right? You're like, where are you guys headed to? The band? No. We're headed to the middle of the desert where I'm going to take illicit drugs for days on end and play the tuba.
Oh boy. No, there's your boy.
That's right.
I just don't.
It's probably gonna suck when you're actually there. Yeah.
Well, it's a week long too. Patricia, would you go somewhere with 72,000 hippies but without plumbing?
I wouldn't. It sounds interesting, and I can understand Robin because the concept sounds interesting, but I wouldn't want to go there and not for a week.
No, I know.
It's kind of like communism. The concept's great, but apply it. It's not so great.
That's why you like it, you fucking commie bastard. You know, he's run by a dictator, so it's starting to seep in.
Yes.
His dictator ways are coming through.
It was bound to happen eventually, I think. The other thing they said too is that there's no like structured activities. It just happens. So if a band's gonna play, it's just gonna happen. Like there's no itinerary. They don't go at Monday at 3. You know, the Beastie Boys are gonna be here. Oh, one other thing. You know how
are there musical acts? I'm sorry. There are musical. I don't know much about it. There are.
Yes, but it has to be impromptu. So you got to build your own stage, and then you got to start playing. But you know who was there and needed a ride? Chris Rock. So I don't know what the fuck is going on here. Yes, exactly.
Can I just ask another question? I have a question.
Totally agree with you.
Why in the world was the problem with Fire Festival? This sounds like Fire Festival. Like he was like, we can't pull it off.
It was inspired.
There's no acts. Nobody knows what's going on. There's no food. There's no way to go to the bathroom. Is this what I'm hearing? I mean, all he needed to get him was to the desert. What in the world's going on?
I know. But somehow 72,000 people still show up, eager to participate in watching a giant wooden thing get set on fire.
I thought that was Elon coming down to the X meeting, but you're saying that's something else. That's
I
right?
think you guys are missing the point.
I did miss it.
Free drugs.
Oh, free.
There's no free drugs either. Robin's not from America. Robin, can you?
I'm
you know
not?
that one
Okay.
picture though? Can you put up that one picture though of where the people are driving? I just want to.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanna...
So this is the Exodus. So when they were finally, so what happened was it rained so much that they were stuck. So there's no Burning Man fest, like there was no music going on, nothing. They were just sitting in the rain. Finally, they were like, "It's cool to drive in the mud. You might make it out." And this is what's happening.
Nobody thought to go on the other sides though. Just these two lanes.
No, you got to stay in the traffic lanes.
So in the desert, there's the traffic lanes.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. This is very.
The desert police will arrest you.
Hippies are not fucking around when it comes to whatever this is, leaving Burning Man.
Scouts honor.
So that's what was happening in the United States. Guess what time it is? It's Patricia time. Oh, hey. All right. So I have many questions about what it is that you do. I listen to many podcasts. So you have your own podcast, but you've also been on many podcasts. You're out there. Quite famous. You're huge in Germany, right?
Yes.
Perhaps the most famous German that's ever been, aside from that.
Well, thank you so much, Eric. Yes,
Look.
I have an own podcast and we launched it yesterday. And I just saw that Jason is watching. So Jason Croft is the one who really, really supported me on this journey to bring up my own show. Because as you said, Eric, I have been on many, many podcasts because I always wanted to speak about what I truly believe in. And so it was maybe by accident or more by synchronicity that our paths crossed. And then, yes, the magic happened. And now we are producing more and more episodes of Magnificence, an empowerment podcast.
Very cool.
And how
Jason's
did you?
A great guy.
Jason is a great guy.
We're big fans over here
right now. He's the one guy watching. Oh, that's not true. Garrett and
He's
James.
our one watcher.
So you were. Let's go back a little bit. You were a teacher for what it was, 18 years or something.
Yes, definitely.
But you bless you.
But you found it.
No, I said God bless you.
Yeah, that's
teaching's the hardest job in the world, I think. Go on.
Yeah.
And then you were teaching teachers how to teach, right?
Yes.
Is that where?
Oh Lord.
Oh, see, look at that research. But then you found, you use this a lot. You say people are comfortably numb in their careers. And I think you found yourself comfortably numb in that career. So you want to do something else.
Yeah. So maybe it was not that. So I was teaching teachers, I was teaching kids, and I really liked that because I think, and we talked about this before the show, I am an out of the box person and I always like to do it my way, in a different way. I wanted to see the kids, I wanted to see the teachers, I wanted to revolutionize the system. This was this big thought, this vision behind everything. And soon I needed to figure out that within the system, I can't change the system because I'm this colorful bird amongst blackbirds.
You're a peacock, it's pigeons. Yes.
I'm the peacock, yes.
That's a good analogy.
And it was so hard. And I guess my body was my compass to alignment because it produced such a huge amount of pain. And so I needed to step outside of my job. And then, things happened and I decided to go a different route.
And this different route is teaching. So you mindset maven, human archaeologist, creative executive. So your whole thing is you want to get people out of their comfortably numb careers to achieve their potential. Yeah.
And so most of the time people feel like, oh yes, this is fine. I'm okay. I don't need to change anything. And then maybe body issues show up or a relationship breaks into small pieces, or they need to go to a shrink. And I feel like that's where I come in. They don't see their magnificence that is hidden somewhere. They don't see the boundless potential that lies within. And they just need to re-access this potential to avoid stories that end in breakup or
a shitty, boring life, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking cats.
Sounds like we need your services here.
I was gonna say, so here's the thing. This is if we had a producer, we would have done this, because Jason Croft, one of our audience members right now, did your show, but you must have had him do some sort of like Myers-Briggs questionnaire, right? Because he had a whole chart, and you read Jason's chart. I want us to. Wouldn't it be great if you could read?
I actually did one of those. I am an ISTP.
Oh, I'm an ENTP. You are not an I.
No, I'm an I. Yeah.
Bullshit. You're on a fucking show every day on the internet. There's no way.
I gotta tell you something. Well, let me tell you something. Those tests are very accurate, but let me tell you something. Money is a hell of a drug. So I know I got to put on my hat and pants and dance.
That's right. So you're embracing your magnificence.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get us paid.
All right.
Yes.
So Patricia, is everyone magnificent?
I feel that I know that everyone is magnificent, but
Except
most of the time people don't own, embrace, and embody their magnificence. That's what I find out there everywhere.
And why is that? What's the biggest thing holding us back from being magnificent? First of all, I was hoping I was the only magnificent one, but I guess everybody is. So what's holding us back from being more magnificent? Is it hairspray?
We talked about that. Hairspray could hold you back.
No.
I think
hairspray.
Eric's out of here now. You've lost him.
Hairspray makes you feel more magnificent, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Right. Not enough hairspray.
What is holding us back? I think it is the stories that we that happen every day, the conditioning in our childhood. And not that we need to talk this through, like Rodney shared, but it is the conditioning. It is this invisible rubber band that whenever we want to leave this comfort zone of pain, this zone of numbness, then it pulls us back. And we can't be magnificent. We can't reach the area of our magnificence because there are those codes, those stories, those false narratives that run through our heads. And we believe this is true. Those concepts we talked about when it came to this guy that was almost murdered because of his appearance in the news. So I think this is just invisible constructs, concepts, beliefs that we think are the truth. And once you discover your own magnificence, you see the magnificence in others. And whenever anything gets into your way, there are amazing tools that help you turn those stumbling blocks into stepping stones so that you can go out there and just simply be magnificent. And that does not mean, and this is what I want to stress, this does not mean that every day is like peace and glory and everything is joy and fun. This is not the concept behind magnificence. It's just knowing who you are, owning it, and stopping to compare yourself.
Those things that hold us back. No, it's good. But the things that hold us back, childhood, society, like, is it, first of all, why do those things exist? Do you think, like, why do we buy into these stories? Why do these stories exist? Like, what is there conspiracy to hold down our magnificence, or is it just humans?
That is so interesting because we just talked about contagiousness.
Right.
And I feel like when we are born into this world, we are totally magnificent. And then it starts with this contagiousness that we learn concepts, we learn rules, we learn how to behave or how to not behave or what to achieve or what makes you a good boy or a good girl. Right. And I think that's it. And we need, so I love working with kids as well, because the sooner, the better. Yeah. But oftentimes it happens around 40 or 50 that people come to this point where they feel this inner void, where they can't achieve what they want to achieve, where they have breakdowns. And so
Buy a Ferrari, get a second wife. It sounds like a midlife crisis.
Like that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Do you think so? This is my theory on the standard education system is that it's in place to produce factory workers. Like sit down, shut the fuck up, memorize this, and then go press buttons. But I think that used to work when there were factories. Now I think what gets celebrated is the rebels, the people that do shit different, the creatives. But that hasn't trickled down to the education system yet, where we're still producing these dum-dums that are just it's somebody said once the America has a bulimic education system because we purge ourselves with knowledge, we puke it all over the page, and we don't retain anything.
Yeah.
And that seems to make sense to me. And
Absolutely.
it hinders magnificence, I would say.
Absolutely, absolutely, and they don't see the magnificence in the kids. And you said it correctly. So, and I think this is a global thing that only a small amount of schools really is aware of the magnificence of the kids.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they would change so much. But it is this old and stiff concept of how to educate people. And just today, I had a conversation with my son, who is at a Montessori school, which is a bit more open-minded.
Yep.
And he brought up concepts because he's going to apply for a job. And then I just said, would you want to talk through this way of doing this conversation with the guys there? And he said, yes, we can do that. And he has ideas of how to not fit in because he really thinks about things in a different way. And I said to him, the issue is society wants you to be like that to get this job. And this is hilarious, isn't it?
Yeah. But there's safety in a pack. Like I think, like physiologically speaking, if you're a herd animal, and we are, if you get singled out, you're the one that dies, right? So if everybody goes left and you go right, the lion eats you. So standing out, I think, is sort of baked into us that it's not necessarily a good thing. But society changes, and now I think standing out is. I mean, look at those who do stand out. I'd much rather be Elon Musk than the guy that makes my Whopper Jr. with cheese. You know?
Yeah. And standing out does not even mean that we need to be the extroverts. Like you are, but you could stand out in a very quiet way. You could stand out and you could just be magnificent just the way you are.
Right. This is why I don't think everyone's magnificent, and I hope they're not, because I don't want the competition. Imagine if, like, I just want to be magnificent. I need most people not to be magnificent because there's no way I can compete with everybody. You know?
Maybe everyone is magnificent, but there's only a few of us that know it.
That's good.
That's the difference. Here's the other thing I was going to say too, right? And this is the advice I was given years ago. I'm not saying this is the right advice, but when I first started my career, so I had an older gentleman tell me, because I was like full of, I was going to do this and that. And he said, listen, sit down, shut up, do whatever you got to, get in power, and then do whatever you want.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because you do have to be within the rules, right? That's the thing too. You can't be, it's what I want to instill in my kid. I'm going, listen, you have to sit down and shut up so you're not a pain in the ass in first grade.
For a few years.
Then do whatever the fuck you want to do. Right?
Exactly. So I think, because like, look at us now. Like literally, I'm not being funny, but like we do whatever we want. But for a few years, we had to sit down, shut up, and
exactly. And that's why, like,
whatever.
Patricia, a lot of the stuff you like, it's a little, it's leftist concepts, right? But like, a lot of it's sort of self-actualization, right? You're gonna figure out who the fuck you are and go do that shit. Like it's not. There's a lot, like you do retreats, for example, right? I look at your things. You do improv writing. You went to a sage priestess course, a shamanic seminar. You're into a lot of wacky shit. Is my point. Like it's a little wacky, but it's fucking wacky shit. But the idea of self-actualization, that's Maslow, baby. That's it's all like, stop being a stupid nobody. Put some hairspray in your hair.
Smart somebody.
Exactly. Be magnificent.
And just yesterday, and that's what I posted yesterday, because I came across this concept, which is a really old concept. You always have to aim for the fact, looking at people the way they were already magnificent, or the way they ought to be, or they should be. So really aiming at a point that is much higher than they actually are right now. That is like, when you ride a plane, you oftentimes, when there are those crosswinds, you have to aim for a much higher point or a different point to actually land on a certain spot. And so when you see people the way they ought to be, or they could be, or they should be, then maybe you land exactly on their magnificence, because then they can own and embody who they are, because you see them in their magnificence. And this is when being an idealist is becoming a realist. I don't know if this makes sense.
Oh, well, listen, they're high concepts. Does this shit fly in Germany? Because you guys are like we discussed in the green room. You're very stoic people. You don't. You said your speech is sort of straightforward. You're very good looking, but you don't. No one smiles in the streets. When you come out this with magnificence, they're like, if I can get out of here, or is it? Or is it accepted?
So I thought about, magnificence works much better in English-speaking countries.
I thought so.
I thought about really not translating the word magnificence into German.
What is
But
it? How do you say magnificent in German?
It sounds strange. Herrlichkeit.
Yeah, magnificence is better.
Herrlichkeit. What is this? No one uses this old-fashioned word. And so I thought about really bringing the word into the German audiences as well, and just talking about magnificence, what it is. I just could describe it with German words as well, so that people get rid of their fear, of their self-doubt, of their imposter syndrome, and that each and every one is like a puzzle piece to this bigger whole magnificent thing that could cover the whole globe. So it is like a magnificent movement. But it is much harder. You are right, Eric, to implement concepts like this in Germany.
I would imagine so. Is that a peacock feather, by the way? I nailed it earlier, right? It is, right?
And that is what the amazing Jason Croft.
Jason Croft is just the gift he keeps giving. Oh my God.
Yeah, we like Jason.
Yeah.
Patricia, I have a question. So you've been a teacher for a long time. Have you ever had an exchange student from America, or a student that came from a different country that didn't really fit inside the German?
Robin, you're out of school. Stop it.
No, but I'm just wondering.
Robin's applying for a job.
There were exchange students, but they always fit in. Yeah, they fit in.
Interesting. So imposter syndrome, do you run into that a lot? I'm concerned about imposter syndrome because I think I have the opposite of that, where I'm like, it leans towards, oh, fuck, obviously I belong here. I'm the best at everything. But there's a lot of people out there who've like done
this. We suffer from that, Eric and I.
We should not be on the air. This is fucking ridiculous. But we think we should because we're the opposite of imposter syndrome.
That's right.
Why do so many people have imposter syndrome? Even though they've been doing the thing for years, it's just such a weird concept to me.
I think this is, I think imposter syndrome and perfectionism are like something that is a couple, and they come in this pair. And whenever you aim for perfectionism, and there is no such thing as perfectionism, you just need to end up in this incredible fear of failure. And that's when, and this is just my idea, when the imposter syndrome comes in, because you always aim for something that is perfect. And maybe, Eric, you are near perfect, or maybe you are.
I was going to say the audacity.
That's the other realization we came to, that we're both perfect.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah. In the fact that you're staring at my hair and then say there's no such thing as perfection, like hurts my. How can you say that?
Yeah, that's why while talking, I thought about, wow, yes, he is perfect. I should mention that.
I worry, I think, with me and Eric is that, or at least I'm speaking for both of us, I would say, is that the people around us aren't as perfect. That's the probably one of our biggest concerns. We really have been concerned about.
Do you find a lot of narcissists in your program? Because you must have people that are looking for something, right? Who aren't already magnificent, or do you have people who are magnificent that want to be more magnificent? Because I'm thinking about signing up.
Yeah.
So is it mostly people who are not and looking for magnificism, or people who are magnificent in some way and want to get more magnificent?
They want to get to a bigger degree.
What an interesting question. I just need to think about that, because there are people who are already high achievers.
Yeah.
And they are magnificent, but they can't see this outrageous magnificence in themselves. And oftentimes, and that is really interesting, we start working on their career approach to showing up more magnificent. And then it comes to stories that happened in childhood, and they still hold on to those stories. And there could be people that are 40, 50, 60, and 70. But also there are some people that went through life. And I have a 70-year-old lady who went through life always hiding in the closet and not showing up and not owning her magnificence. And she just started to blossom through the sessions we did together. And this is what is really warming my heart. Right. When someone finally feels, well, yes, I am amazing. Mm-hmm. And this is why I love this work so much.
That's 70. That's great but she's got some work to do. You know?
Yeah.
Well, Colonel Sanders, are you familiar with him? He was like 70 when he invented Kentucky Fried Chicken. So there's still hope for this lady.
And he used his first Social Security check. Did you know that?
No, first Social Security
check. To do his first demo. No, this is real. Yeah. I actually met the guy. His name's the guy that helped him. His name was Fred something or another. And he was at some conference I was at years ago speaking. And he actually helped build FedEx and Colonel Sanders. But Colonel Sanders, anyway, basically, long story short, he came up with this chicken idea, and he to demo it, he would go around places, make it. People were like, this is incredible. And he like, do you want to buy a franchise? And they were like, what are you talking about, old man? Yeah. But that's how he got started. He used his Social Security check, and he didn't start until he retired.
Yeah.
So if Colonel Sanders didn't embrace his magnificence at 70, we would never have family pack of drumsticks. And that's right. Story, oh my God, the United States
or extra crispy. Or the funny commercials that Norm Macdonald used to do. Do you recall
or the shitty mashed potatoes? We would be without so many things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Can I ask you what human design is? Because like I said, I listen to a lot of your podcasts, and you keep saying this human design thing keeps coming up, and I don't know what that means because I'm a big idiot. My hair's great. So
you should know because you will be on the show.
That's right.
Tomorrow. So maybe then you are going to regret it, Eric.
I regret almost everything I do. So
what if you make him? But here's the problem I fear about Eric. What if he comes across not as Eric?
That's right.
A softer, gentler, kinder Eric.
Yeah.
My magnificence in the opposite direction. I need to calm the fuck down. All right. So what is that?
We will figure that out. But human design, and I look at your magnificence through the lens of human design and just the intuitive knowingness. But human design is a concept, is a system that is, and maybe you think this is really BS. Maybe you think that, but it is a combination of the I Ching, the astrological stuff, quantum physics. I just watch you, the Kabbalah, the I Ching, I don't know if I mentioned that, and the chakra system. And someone called Ra Uruhu, he just did an overlay of all those concepts, and you can figure out your energetic blueprint. And I need to tell you, when I first came across this concept or this system, I thought, what the heck is this? This is putting people into a box. I'm not an astrological person. I don't like that. And then I came across it again and again and again. And then I saw the potential in this. I saw the superpower of this structure. When you use it in the right way, then you really can leverage and put a magnifying glass on all your amazing superpowers that you have in your energetic blueprint. And so just by taking your birth time, your time of your place of birth and your birthday, you can get a chart, which looks really complicated, a lot of numbers, a lot of channels. And then you can focus on certain areas depending on what you would love to proceed with. And you could figure out how to best help the person.
So with these charts, is it like Myers-Briggs, like there's 16 things you could be, or a certain number of things that you could possibly be? Like you get a reading, there's 5?
There are 5 types. Okay. The generator, the manifesting generator, the projector, the manifester, and the reflector.
Can we do something? Can you can we take the tests? But can you guess what each one of us is before using your vast amount? Can you guess what me, Rodney, and Robin would get?
I guess, and then I should run the chart, so which would take quite some time.
You can predict it. Yeah.
So just for you, I'd say you are a manifesting generator.
Okay.
But I don't know because I didn't run your chart yet.
This is like before the season. You go, who's going to win the Super Bowl? This is what you're doing. You're predicting.
The Jets.
Who's going to start? Wrong.
I'm joking.
You could be a manifester, but I think you're a manifesting generator.
I'm a manifesting generator. All right. What about our friend Rod, the PEO god?
Rodney. That is more difficult. A generator.
He's a generator.
That sounds right. That sounds right to me. That sounds right.
So obviously, I'm whatever these two are not.
And Robin, I'd say a projector.
Robin's a projector. Okay.
But I don't know. So I don't know you guys. I just got to know you.
We know. We just want to trust your instinct. Well, we want to gauge your instincts because obviously you don't know us.
We don't know anything.
For an hour, but let's see.
I do have one thing to say. I just want to say this. I don't know a lot about all this stuff, but here's what I'll say. I know a lot of people say astrology is like whatever, but hear me out when I say this, right? If you think about it, that's the only science, right? that anybody still uses. No, I'm serious. To this day. Am I right or wrong? Right?
Yeah.
Like I'm an Aries, for example, right? And if you read the Aries description, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's spot on. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, I'm such a Sagittarius. What about you, Robin? What are you?
I'm a Libra, but what is a Libra supposed to be? I'm unsure.
Balancing the scales, Robin.
Patricia, what are you?
I'm a fire starter.
I'm an Aries as well.
Oh yeah, shit, two Aries is.
That's right.
Yes.
Two Aries makes a right. I don't know if you knew that or not.
And what are you? Scorpion.
Me?
Yeah.
Sagittarius. I'm half man. I'm half man, half something.
Half amazing.
Nope.
I'm all amazing.
He's a Minotaur.
So now, how could we proceed with my prediction? So everyone who is watching the show, they want to know what you are.
Yeah. So I think if we can you have the tests. I mean, we'll pay for them, whatever you need to do. We'll take the test and then we'll have you back on and you can review us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
You need to send me the dates and then I can run your chart. And I'm going to run your chart because we are going to be on the show. So we can run Rodney's and Robin's chart as well.
Oh, so what you need our birth date and what else?
Birth date, time of birth, and place of birth.
Time of birth,
like when you mean place, you mean like where, like state, or what do you mean?
City and state.
Okay.
Take the test.
Oh, I'm asking my mom.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. I hope I am a manifesting
birthday time. And if you don't know your time exactly, then just roundabout would be helpful.
You would think
my mom knows everything. I know my date of birth, and I know where.
My mother's gonna have a real good idea of when I show
Eric,
up.
you're not gonna believe this. I was born in Vietnam.
Oh shit! I lived in Vietnam. I was born in Salem, Massachusetts, where they used to kill the old witches. Burn them at the stake. I don't believe. Hey, Patricia, honestly, with the shit you're into 200 years ago, we would have set you on fire. So this is
200 years ago. This show would have been some sorcery. It'd have been like, how the hell these guys get on the internet?
Yeah, we're all witches today.
Yeah. No, get rid of all of them.
Oh, this is great. I'm excited for this crossover.
This is exciting.
So just so tomorrow I'm doing your show. Are you going to go down? Oh, look at this. Look at my mother. She's showing up. She still has my baby bracelet. So any information you need is going to be right on there. Thanks, Mom.
That's a really good picture of your mom, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
No, everyone looks good.
Thanks. The two kids to the left are mine. They're a little bit.
Outlaws. The outlaws. This is their pre-prison pics.
Yeah, exactly. Before they moved to Austin and started robbing motherfuckers. Listen, this was very informative. I can't wait to have you back. This is like a teaser. This is like the end of a season, but you got to tune in.
You've been a great guest, by the way.
Yeah, you were amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on the show. It was so I do not regret it all.
No, you don't. We didn't work hard enough.
I'll get some more stories that are cancelable next time.
Robin's been sleeping on the job.
All right, so Patricia, we only have 30 seconds left before they do the hard cutoff. Do you want to pitch anything? You want to tell them where to go? This is your website.
So anyone who's interested in doing the human design chart, they could reach out and just have a free 15-minute human design chart reading. I would be honored to do that for anyone who is interested in this stuff.
You can say this wacky shit, but it's great wacky
It's
shit.
science.
Wacky
Science. It's science.
It is science, and it helps
Yeah.
you really reach your potential in every area of your life.
Yeah. Well, listen, the three of us.
It's a starter.
Absolutely. The three of us have reached magnificence, and we love it. So anybody out there that wants to be more magnificent, more like Eric,
I
Rodney,
highly recommend being magnificent.
It's the best thing in the world. All right, listen, we did an hour. Thank you very much for being here. We will see you tomorrow. And, well, I'm going to be on your show, so I'll definitely see Patricia tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody.